And welcome into Brewcast for Maize and Brew on SB Nation's podcast network. I am Luke Yardy, joined by Anthony Broom, and for the last time as a member of the show, we welcome in Chris Castellani as well here with you Monday, May 24th, as we head into Tuesday, May 25th. And it's not going to be a lot of the original talk, as you know we're used to doing on the show. Obviously, there was some news surrounding Josh Gaddis and whatnot here today within the football program. All that stuff is getting pushed here this week.
We just get the quick reaction to that out of the way.
Yeah. It's meh. It's meh. You know, whatever. We might talk about it a little bit later, but tonight we have one final go-around with our friend Chris Castellani, who, unless you've been living under a rock, you know, he was hired by Barstool Sports. Chris going up to the show. He's leaving high A. He's getting called right up to the show here. So we got to give him the proper farewell. Boys, how we doing here tonight?
Well, we did a small little ritualistic shot before this. So it was enough the inhibitions are dampened. What will be said will be said. Got a couple of special guests via pre-recorded stuff that we're going to sprinkle in throughout the evening. Just want to send this man off the right way. And I know over the years, this would have been the start of year 4 of us doing the show together. Yeah. I've been accused of times of like talking too much and overtaking the show. I'm just passing the ball. I'm John Stockton tonight. So Chris.
I mean, it's been a week for sure. And there's honestly, if you know me personally, you know, there's more to it than even just that. I mean, it's, we're talking that the hands of God, hands of fate, changing my life. This is going to be very emotional for me, for sure. You know, this will not be the last time I say this, and I talk about it on my last Locked On show tomorrow. You know, it's been an unbelievable week, and it's been hard to enjoy it because it's just so damn overwhelming. I mean, the amount of messages and feedback that I've gotten from people, I'm still trying to get back to people. I mean, it's surreal. And I'm grateful, and I don't know when it's going to sink in. I don't know when it's going to hit. It still hasn't, but thankful for the opportunity. And you know, this is you guys have known me long enough to know that this is where I wanted to be, and it means a lot to be moving on.
Can you give us a little story? How did this all come together?
Okay, well, I guess yeah.
Give us the Snyder Cut version of the story.
Yeah, no, I'll give you the whole thing, and I want to just, I'm not sure who to do, which names to bring up and which not. I was literally minutes away from signing with another sports media company that I had been pursued by for about a month. I was content with this. There were some trepidations, but it was a paying gig doing what I love. And the papers were signed. I just needed to scan them and send them in. And I was hell-bent on doing it on, trying to get the dates right now, on I believe Monday night, or perhaps it was Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. But I held back on it, and I was going to scan them and send them to him on Tuesday. And then Spencer Turnbull decided to throw a no-hitter. And one of, you know, an incredible moment, obviously. I didn't go about things any differently than I have before. You know, I did my reaction to the final out, and I made the video. I wake up the next morning, and I have a DM on Twitter from Dave Portnoy, the head of Barstool Sports. And, you know, he is very big on remaining blue collar, and he doesn't have that blue check mark. So immediately I'm like, this is bullshit. This is a fake account. This is somebody trying to screw with me. I checked. I saw the 2.5 million followers. And I was like, hey, you know, hey, Prez, what's up? He sent me a message saying, all right, give me your phone number and let's talk. So he let it slip. I tried to keep it a secret for a couple of years, but I've been working at a gas station for the last 2 years. And I was at the register, and at about 10 o'clock, roughly, I get a call from a Massachusetts area code. And I knew right away who it was. And my awesome, amazing boss, Scott, who's been so cordial to me through these last couple of years, I just walk out and I go, Scott, I got to take this, buddy. I'm out. And so I'm pacing back and forth, in a Speedway parking lot as regular customers are going by going, oh, hey, Chris, how you doing? And I'm like, none of these guys have any idea. I'm talking to Dave Portnoy right now. So he was very, I don't mean to kind of peel back the curtain, but he was extremely cordial and very nice and very kind, and very complimentary. And he said, look, we're going to hire you. And he put a number out there that was actually more than what I'd asked for. And so I get home. It was my shift ended at 1. And I get home, and I'm talking to my parents about this. They sent me the contract, and I get a text from the sports media company that I was about to be employed by, and they said, let's do the rollout at 6 p.m. And this was a tough call. It really was, because I like what they were doing, and I think that their content and their product is going to grow. I think it's excellent. And it was tough calling them and saying, I'd gotten another offer, because I worried that I was worried it was going to make myself look like the D-bag who had been trying to leverage one job with another. That wasn't the case. Spencer Turnbull doesn't throw a no-hitter. None of this is happening. And so it was signed, and in a matter of about 6 hours, I went from going one place to going to a completely another. And I could live to be 1,000 years old, and I probably will not have a crazier 24 hours than what I had over that day there. With everything that went on with Barstool. And I'm still, to be honest, we're still not, I'm still a little bit vague on what my roles and responsibilities are going to be. I'm going to call Dave tomorrow and we're going to work this out, but you get a call and they say you do want to work for him. You say yes, and you sign the deal. No questions asked. So I'm incredibly excited. There is, even as crazy as that story is, there is still more to it that I look forward to telling one day, but that's the abridged version right now, and it's one that I've told several people already, and one that I'm excited to tell more people about.
I mean,
awesome.
I'll be quite honest with you. Like you say the Turnbull thing, and I found it funny that you were so mellow about that. Like that was that video that you put out after that, the immediate reaction video, man, it legit was. I think Jared Carabas said it best, that it was like a pure moment or something like that, wholesome. That's honestly what it was, man, and it was crazy. You're just like, man, something good happened to the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, which is now a slogan.
Like I said, exactly. And then like I said, man, you told us about this, all that was happening. I was like, man, something good happened to Chris Castellani,
Right, well, I appreciate that. It was definitely, I think this no-hitter hit differently than any of the other ones, and there's been an oversaturation of them. There's been 6, 7 if you include the Mad Bum. This one was different because essentially to go 5 years almost where the most exciting thing that's happened to your organization has been 5 games of Akil Baddoo and drafting Spencer Torkelson, you're going through it. And so for that to have happened, I think everyone is kind of a big sigh of relief, like, okay, it's still possible that some good things can happen here. And it was one of those instances. I have been a fortunate victim of some tremendous luck and circumstance. And it was one of those things that happened at the right moment, that caught on the right time and hit with the right people. So wild time.
Well, I want to throw it to our first video shout out of the night, if you guys don't mind taking a quick little, it's only like 18 seconds. So.
Okay.
Hey, Trevor Woods here. Just want to give a shout out to Chris. Congratulations, man. Congratulations on everything you accomplished. We believe in you. We're proud of you. Just keep grinding, keep doing what you're doing. And it's got you real far by just being yourself. So keep on down that road, man. Take care.
Well, thank you. Anthony and I did a commentary track last night, finishing off our reviews for the Star Wars prequels, and he alluded that there was going to be something. So I thank you to Trevor, and thank you to whoever is going to come next. It's obvious, an achievement without people to celebrate it with is pretty meaningless. So the fact that there's been just such an outpouring of positive responses is, it means the world. It means everything.
Well, so let's roll it back to the beginning now, because this isn't just a show of us hanging out. This is a retrospective on ultimately what the last 3 to 4 years have been for all of us. So, Chris, I think it was maybe the winter or the spring of 2018.
Yeah.
I send out a call, it was an article, whatever it was, for something similar to what I sent out a month or so ago. Hey, we're looking for help everywhere. And when I do that, a little bit of inside baseball for when I do those types of things, I'm not looking for a particular thing. I'm looking for good people that can bring something interesting to the table. Now, when I got an email from you, and I've never told you this before, I was extremely familiar with you, like very familiar with you, because that was around the time when Screaming Chris was a thing.
Very much so. he was a cottage industry at that point. Yeah.
So, when I see that the dude that's making the Screaming Tigers videos on Twitter is going, I want to join this site. I'm a Michigan fan. I'd love to get some experience. I'm going, is this going to work? Is this guy just in it to like expand his brand? Is he in it to, how do I put it? Kind of use the site as a and those things were all true, but so I guess what I want to know, because I don't think we've ever had this conversation, is why Maize and Brew? Why that for Chris Castellani? Because at that point, I mean, I don't want to say a one-trick pony, but you were known for one very specific thing. So why us?
Good question. Because it had become apparent that you were one of the only ones that was going to take a chance on me. I haven't even let this slip before, but my rep when I was at Central that last year, my reputation amongst BCA students, and a lot of hearsay is involved here, so I'm not saying it's 100% concrete, but I co-hosted a radio show on campus, was not particularly positive. And it's gotten a whole lot better, but my perception among certain members of the media and certain members of sports social media was not particularly positive either. I've come to understand that. I think that to a lot of people, I was viewed as a guy who was cutting corners, because you had these people that went to college, got their degrees, did internships, did radio checks, and then, kind of worked their way up through the industry. And all of a sudden there was this guy that was just getting popular by screaming. And there was a backlash. And I had tried to apply at different points at places in Cleveland, places in Detroit. And it was kind of that whole, like, if you're not going to bring your shtick with you, you don't have a whole lot else to offer. It appealed to me because I knew you guys were young, which helped. Close to my age. You were both Central Michigan guys, as was I. So I was desperately just looking for someone to take a chance on me at that point. And it just came to be that Maize and Brew was that one. But it was a grind there for about a year, just trying to find anything. Now, eventually, as my content cooled off a little bit, and as I started to get older, more opportunities like Locked On and obviously Barstool opened up. But things have changed a bit. But when you become indoctrinated into Barstool culture, especially 4 years ago, I was proud of it, but that is tough to shake off to a lot of people. And I was just somebody who just wanted to make videos and have fun. You realize the fragility of certain egos in the industry for sure. And I knew it would be a good starting off point. And there was, to be honest, to answer your question fully, it's because there was never another option. It was always you guys and you guys alone.
That actually, so Chris and I actually joined at the exact same time. Yeah. So Anthony, how did you decide to put this together?
Well, I was looking to build, at the time, we weren't doing daily shows back then, or
right.
Multiple times a week. Like this was, and again, I don't think Jared and Andy were quite doing their thing yet. Vaughn, I think, was with us, but wasn't doing the recruiting podcast yet. It was just kind of us. And what I was looking to do was build our flagship, our podcast. This was a time, 3 or 4 years ago was kind of the podcast. I don't want to say a renaissance, but pardon my French, every asshole has a podcast now.
Right.
And we were kind of, for better or worse, that was me jumping on that train. And we had done stuff before with interview stuff. I used to do a show with Josh Henschke, things like that. I think when that all came together, it was, okay, I've got, first of all, 2 Central Michigan guys. So I know that I don't know what their grades are like, but I know I know that they at least had the opportunity to be trained well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that was the first thing. The second thing is that I knew I had the Screaming Tigers guy, and I knew I had the guy who was in radio, who could kind of rein both of us in. I dabbled a little bit. I mean, I'm stunned that there's pretty significant crossover with the years that we were all there. I'm stunned that being in that building, that shout out Moore Hall. I did Jim Costa's show. Jim's with 97.1 now. I took over for that.
You did Chip Chat, and I was on the Sunday one, Sports Zone.
Okay, and we never crossed paths. Not once.
Never. Not once. Yeah.
Not once, Dewey. Not once did you pay for drugs. So I think my idea was just like, okay, I've got the radio guy. I've got what you ultimately have been over these last 3 years, Luke, is the dude, the straight man, the guy who can keep us on track, keep things flowing. Me, I'm a scatterbrain. Everyone knows this. I need structure. And Chris, I think, is, even you could see, like, sometimes you just know. I mean, there was absolutely zero hesitation that for either of you I was going to bring you in. But definitely Chris, like, sometimes you just know when someone has it. And this isn't me patting myself on the back, but something I'm proud of about what this site has become is that I think that for myself personally, I think I've done a pretty good job. Again, I'm trying so hard not to make this sound cocky, but a lot of people who I brought in have gone on to say better things, but bigger things. I mean, it worked for me. It worked for, Evan Petzold wrote for us. Brandon Justice, shout out Brandon if he's watching or listening somewhere, had a gig in the industry. Whoever, I'm sorry if I'm forgetting. I mean, Vaughn works at Channel 7 now. It's just all kind of this ragtag operation has just kind of worked out for all of us. But sometimes, like the people who I've brought in, like, you just know, and it's been apparent from the start that, like, this is I'm going to say this term one more time. This is the screaming Tigers guy. But I knew, like, if that dude can be reined in a little bit, that's a star. And I want that dude on my side and on my team. So, and look at me, the soothsayer. We're here 3 years later. And we kind of came in at a time, too, where things were, right off the bat, we're covering Michigan's going to the national title game the year they, got blown out by Villanova. 2018 football, talk about the hype train, the hype all offseason. Shea Patterson's coming in. He's going to be our Russell Wilson, blah, 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 blah. The Notre Dame game happens, which was probably one of the most underwhelming games I've ever covered, just in terms of what all the offseason hype materialized into. And then they rip off 10 straight wins going into that Ohio State game, and what happens after then has been redacted from the record. But
it's fun. I just got to say, I do remember thinking about this job, and this foolish of me, on that week of the Ohio State game. Like, man, my first year on this job, we're going to have a Final Four. We're going to have a Big Ten title. This is going to be the best job ever. Everything's coming up Michigan. Then, of course, 62 points in the
hubris is done in many a Michigan man over the year.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's Luke. Do you have anything to add on that while I queue up our next video shout out?
Yeah, that was a crazy start, and just kind of thinking back to how green it was and us trying to just find our way, like, with one another, because we used to not be able to see each other. We used to do this. I don't even remember if we did. I don't know if we did Zencaster from the start. I can't remember what we did.
We've only been doing this for 4 or 5 months. A year.
It was
trying to, like, navigate without seeing, like, facial reactions or anything like that, man. It was quite the feeling out process. I'm not going to lie to you, but I don't know. It's like we just got more and more comfortable, and then we became hardened and calloused by all the disappointment.
Well, yeah, that'll bring people together as massive disappointment. But the other thing I want to say about that too is that, Luke, you work in the industry. We've all kind of been, to a certain extent, cross-trained in the industry. Like, we all have been creating content for the better part of the last decade or so, in one way or another. It's hard to find that chemistry, and I feel like we kind of had it right off the bat. And I'll be honest with you, like, there's a lot of really demoralizing football weekends that I was able to get through by going, okay, we have company to break this down with.
For sure,
right?
So, I wish we could have been a little more interactive, like what we're doing now earlier on, but I don't know if many people know this, but this is only my second year full time, and a lot of this is, I won't say a one-man show, but I'm producing, reading comments, cutting audio, all that type of stuff. So again, that's oh God, it's nauseating how much I've said stuff about me. This is Chris's show.
No, it's fine. I know a lot of this stuff I haven't heard, so I'm fascinated by it for sure.
So, all right, well, it's time for another video shout out. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Hey Chris, it's Caroline Darney, streakingthelawn.com, SB Nation. I just want to say huge congratulations on your new role. I'm so excited for you. It's going to be amazing. I know you've been working really, really hard, and I just wanted to say I appreciate all the hard work you've put in, and I'm just super stoked for you. I will forever, though, hold a grudge that you made me watch Spider-Man 3 again and live through that experience of dancing Tobey Maguire. But for today, I'll let it go. And congratulations. Best of luck.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll tell you what. We've been through the ringer here, not just in regards to going through these games, but we've been through Cats, we've been through the prequels, we've been through Spider-Man 3. So yeah, I mean, the pandemic was nothing compared to some of these movies we've had to watch. But
yeah, spoiler alert, we won't be hearing from Ashley tonight, and we might not ever hear from her again.
I asked her, it's funny because before I got hired by Barstool, I was like, do you want to be on my podcast next time the Tigers play the Indians? She was like, well, I might, but I'm fairly busy. I'm convinced that she was like, is this the guy I watch Cats with? No, I don't. I'm separating myself wholly from that.
Is that a grudge?
Yeah,
being
exactly. Which I don't blame her for.
Total sweetheart was unable to connect with her today, but yeah, thank you, Caroline. Good times to be had. I mean, I think maybe that's the next talking point we get to is how we kept this thing afloat during a pandemic. We didn't. So the first year that we did the show, after that NCAA tournament was done, we took a break for, I don't want to say a couple of months, but it was a while.
I would say.
No, I think it might have legit been a couple
all
months.
Summer,
to be honest with you.
Yeah. And since then, I mean, we've taken little breaks here and there, but it's pretty much been nonstop since then. So
I don't even remember how we got through 2020, to be honest with you.
It was pulled, whatever stops you had. I mean, I think I
remember doing some movie lists last year and whatnot, but
I think what we benefited from was the fact that it was one of those rare times in the world where everyone was going through the same thing. Like in the summer, sometimes people have content, sometimes people don't. All sports had stopped. It wasn't just Michigan sports. So us scrounging, I think there was kind of a charm to that. The fact that we were going through, sifting through our psychological Rolodex, trying to find whatever we could to make lists about. So, yeah, I mean, it was worth it. And no, I'm the same way. I just like, it is weird to me that I essentially spent all summer waking up, doing a podcast about a sport that wasn't being played, and then going for walks. And that was it. I mean, that was the basis of March 2020 to July/August.
You took over Locked On like right before all this went down, didn't you?
I'd say this. I think I said it on last week's Locked On. Remember the Bad Luck Brian meme from like 2012 of that, that where people would to talk about all these ridiculous bad things that happened. It was guys like school photo of him looking kind of dorky. I used that because it was like I decided to reboot a movie review channel when movie theaters went in the toilet. I decided to do a baseball podcast when baseball decided not to be played anymore. So, yeah, I mean, it was a grind for sure. I mean, to be honest, Maize and Brew was like the least of my worries because I knew I had two other people. But having to do shows about
it wasn't the least of mine.
What's that?
It wasn't the least of mine. I'll tell you that.
Well, I'm sure. I bet that. But when you're out there on your own doing a show and you have nobody to bounce ideas off of, yeah, I mean, you find lists. And I was like, all right, I got a good thing going. I'm going to do a top 25 games of the last decade. That'll fill up 8 weeks worth of shows, and then the pandemic will be over by then. Like, obviously, of course.
Yeah. 2 weeks to slow the spread. That's all.
Right, exactly. Oops, we were about a tenth of the way into it then. So it's definitely been a trip. But yeah, again, in hindsight, it's kind of amazing we got through it the way we did.
Yeah, I'm going through the old episodes now. Things started to turn probably like March 27th. That was when we did Rise of Skywalker. Cats was April 8th. I mean, it just kind of spiraled out of control from there. We had some stuff. We had some interesting things here and there. I think it was more just, it was the only, like, I can only speak for me personally, but it was one of the only structured things that we still had, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I can count on that happening every week. So, that's, I don't know. Where do we go from there? I mean, from Chris, I don't know. This is your show. What do you want to talk about? I don't care.
It was brought up, I think, as in the kind of description for this video, some of our favorite moments in the 3 years we've been doing this. The ones that stand out to me, and one of them was very recent, but the first legitimate argument that we had, it wasn't us. It was you and Luke going back and forth about the Michigan State stuff. And what I loved about that was I was sitting back there like Salacious Crumb with this huge shit-eating grin on my face because I knew right away, I'm like, this is good content. I would say, to be honest, I think not videos, but I think the content we made during this basketball season was really good. Like across the board, not just the Hoops Pod, but this as well. Because I think that team, to me, they didn't come out of nowhere, but they were obviously better than I expected them to be. And following the pandemic, following a football season that was like, people don't understand, that was 6 games. That was so brutal to do. I mean, this is a misconception about what I do. I don't actually enjoy like coming on here and ripping the teams I love. That was difficult. Like Anthony, you were recording your solo pod after the Michigan State game, and I'm walking through the streets of Chicago listening to it, and I'm fuming. that was all very tough. Weirdly, one that stands out to me was an episode we did, I think it was probably during a bye week, where Stan Lee had passed away. And we talked about, I think it was just me and you, Anthony, and we talked about it for a little bit, and you ended it with a quote from him. And I remember thinking, like, you know what, for two guys, a few years out of college, doing a tribute to a guy who's had an impact on their lives, I remember thinking that was really good. And that was one of the first moments where I was like, I really think we got something here. Because I knew we could be good. And then once we got the chemistry down, I feel like, we kind of evolved after that. So yeah, those are some standouts for me. And obviously, the shows everyone wanted to listen to, the Ohio State losses, the Notre Dame loss, but were good content. But those were ones that kind of stand out to me as like some of the ones where when they ended, I was like, all right, that was a good show.
I feel like I don't have the numbers. I don't even know if you do. I'd imagine the most listened to was 2018 Ohio State, the show after that game. I mean, that was a tough one to sit down and do, though, to be quite honest with you. That's like you said, Chris, it's not fun to do those. Like, I had so much fun doing the shows during the revenge tour. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. Having to come on and do that one post Ohio State was not that enjoyable.
Or this basketball season when they had that stretch, they had that, it was about a month-long stretch where every team they played, they were running out of the gym. Like Minnesota, Northwestern, Wisconsin, not just winning handily by 10 or 15, but having 35-point leads with 8 minutes left and pulling all their starters. So no, that was definitely a fun. No, I'm with you. Those were. I wish we could have had more of those. Obviously,
right? Yeah, no kidding.
But no, there were definitely a lot of good ones there down the stretch this year for basketball that were really a lot of fun.
I think the highlight of maybe that 2018 year, and God, didn't even mention this, was we did the staff hangout in Detroit, and that was honestly, people might not realize this. That's the only time in 3 years, 4 years, whatever it's been now, where all 3 of us have been in the same room together in the flesh. That's it.
Your story.
That's right. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I mean, it shows how much our chemistry grew. That we were able to continue with kind of what we were doing, having only met each other once. That was that was good preparation for the pandemic, because I was texting one of my friends, and I was saying to her, you have become one of my best friends, and we've met each other in person 3 times, because it's with the way things have gone with the pandemic. So we were all prepped for it by the time it rolled around. So we kind of already.
It's alarming how little our social calendars change. We've always been isolated losers.
Yeah. Now we had an excuse not to hang out with people. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's well.
That was fun though, man. That was a good
that
time.
was great. Yeah. No, I was extremely drunk, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good night. Detroit Beer Company took care of all of us that night, but definitely took care of yours truly. So there were a couple other times where we were Luckless. Was it 2019 Wisconsin at Jim Brady's where you watched the Wisconsin game? And
where I was trying to figure out if I jumped from the Jim Brady's window high enough if it would kill me. I was because we get there and I'm also okay. First of all, I'm immediately this is a story we've never told. There was one guy there in a sea of maize and blue who was wearing Wisconsin red.
That's right.
You took a picture of the whole crew, and somebody on Twitter responded and said, "What's up with the one guy in Wisconsin red?" And you said he was at the Ohio State meetup last year wearing Ohio State gear, which is trolling on a level I've never heard of. To be so not root for one team, but be so anti against another that you're wearing other teams' colors. That's pretty impressive. So immediately I'm in a bad mood. Just because that shit annoys me. So we get there. Wisconsin drives down the field. On like 4 plays, they score a touchdown. And I'm like, man, all right, I drove an hour for this. They better give me something. Ronnie Bell goes for 70 yards. Me and you are giving high fives. Everyone's getting excited. We're in business. And then immediately, as a great coach / offensive coordinator should do, who do we give the ball to? Not DPJ, not Nico Collins, not Ronnie Bell, not Chris Evans wasn't on the team, but not any of our running backs, not Charbonnet, not Haskins. Let's give it to the fullback converted linebacker, whatever the hell he became. Ben Mason touched the ball for the one and only time in his career, fumbled, and me and you both looked at each other, and you had essentially already started writing your post-game article. We knew right away. We're like, if this is how things are going to go, we're done. And we reached the end of the third quarter, and it was 42-10. And I just said, "All right, buddy, I'm out." And I went and I did my post game, and I uploaded it from the highway. As you know, Patterson was doing a little bit stat padding.
We don't condone that, by the way.
What's that?
We don't drink we don't drive in post game. We don't condone that.
Which I haven't done. No, that's a big misconception too. Everyone always thought when I did those videos in my car I was driving. I've never done a video while driving. It's all these like 19-year-old YouTubers who think it's cool. Never done that. Uploaded it, press tweet as I was at a stop sign about to enter the highway. But yes, that was definitely a trip. In hindsight, I look back at a positive memory, but I remember getting home and being so mad because I'm like, this season's over. And again, what they rail off like 7 out of the next 8 to try to give us some hope, and then things went the way they did. But yeah, that one always stands out.
That was I think the low point, man. After that game that season, that was because we were like, oh man, that was after the Army game, I think.
Yeah, they played the Army game, and then there was a bye week, and then they come back.
Yeah. So we were like, I don't know, we were a little bit worried about it, and then all the fears came to fruition on that one, man.
And it was another example, and this is kind of a classic bit of the show too. Promising young quarterback of the future comes in.
Yeah.
Bam! Knocked out of the game, concussion. You don't see him the rest of the year.
Right.
Back to Shea Patterson.
Not only you don't see him the rest of the year, you never see him ever.
No, he's playing at Northern Colorado now, which was the school that I started my college hoops 2K6 dynasty in way back in the day. So insane. Well, I have 2 more video shout outs, so I want to play one right now. Okay. I think it might start to get a little dusty in here. So
oh boy, here we go.
Just sorry, this is live. So.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We're building up the anticipation.
Hi, my name's Jenna. I'm one of Chris's friends. Chris, it felt like I knew you before we even met in person just because you've always been yourself in your videos, and I'm sure your fans feel the same way. You're a little less angry in person, but it's been so awesome to have a front row seat to watch you grow in your career. One of my favorite things about you is that you've been so transparent on social media with your struggles. That calls to mind one of my favorite quotes from Robin Roberts, where she says, "To make your mess your message," and I think you're the perfect embodiment embodiment of that statement. Not only is your passion noticeable, you're so genuine, but you bring this innate knowledge with you with anything that you cover. So we're all going to miss you on Locked On Tigers and the Maize and Brew podcast, but all of your fans and friends are going to be following you in your new adventure. So congratulations, and can't wait to see what you come up with.
We're going to need to give the man a minute.
Jenna's very important to me. And when I took my hiatus from social media, yeah, she's that's my best friend, and I had a feeling you were gonna do that. I had a feeling it was gonna be her. And
I'm not done either, but
please, I know, but please, she's amazing, and she's such a star, and she has no idea how good she is. At Jenna Rose TV on Twitter, she's an amazing person, and she knew, and she did a good job of hiding it. And I'm gonna text her right now to let her know that I'm crying, and I'll never forgive her for it. But because she's at the Tiger game right now. But yeah, when you go through that kind of struggle, you realize who your friends are, and I love her. She's amazing, and I literally, if anything bad ever happens to her, I'm gonna hit somebody with my car. She's the best. So
whoa, YouTube. That's not. We'll cut that. We'll cut that.
Metaphorically speaking. But yeah, thank you.
With words, I'll hit her with my car with words.
No, not her. I'll hit somebody else.
Oh, someone. Sorry, Jenna. Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry. We're all
She's the
warm in
best,
here too. I'm a big softie. I see you cry. It makes me want to cry. So.
Yeah, I had a feeling. Yeah. I'm at a loss now, but that was yeah.
Where do we even go after that, man? I mean,
well, yeah,
I got to stream at 8:30. But Steven, I know he's watching right now. We're gonna do our best to get out of here when we can, but sometimes it's not every day you send off a model, honestly, a model human being, as far as I'm concerned. So
yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, but play the next one, because you
just want to get it all out of your system.
Let's go. Let's do it. I have nothing else to add. Let's do it. And okay. I have a feeling I know who this is, but go ahead.
All right, hold on.
Hey, Chris.
Oh,
first
maybe
of all,
not.
I want to congratulate you on your stint with Maize and Brew. You did a great job on that, and I know you had a lot of fun, and you made a couple of great friends there that you'll have for the rest of your life. And I also want to congratulate you on your new position with Barstool. I mean, you worked hard. You deserve it. And I just want you to know that Mom and I and Michael, we love you, and we're here to support you in any way we can. And we're looking forward to the next chapter of your life.
Well, that's my dad.
Little dusty in here.
Yeah.
No, no, allergies are terrible. Damn dog.
I had a lot of onions tonight. Well, I had a feeling. I'll say this, and I'll give my send off to you guys now. I don't know. It might be a little bit meaningless to do social media plugs at this point, but
dude, you have more followers than either of us combined will ever have. Like, we know where to find you.
Luke, you're a pro, and I think that in so many instances, you not only reined us in, but one of the first moments I knew it was going to be successful was when I heard your voice. And I'm like, all right, that velvety voice is going to sound good doing a podcast every week. And I mean, you've worked your ass off, and it's been, people don't know, just kind of, you coming back and being like, all right, I got to set up now because I just had a show and now I'm doing a game. And, I can't wait to see where it goes, man, because you got it. And Anthony, you're one of my best friends. And the thing is, I'm crying like somebody's, going away. We're gonna keep texting each other. We're gonna keep hanging out. I'm not moving anywhere. We're gonna stay friends. But you were the first to take a shot on me, and the way that our friendship has grown and flourished has been really incredible. And I will forever support Maize and Brew, whatever you guys do going forward. Maize and Brew will be a part of me for as long as I'm around. I was 22 when I got hired, and I think you both can attest to the fact that a whole lot's changed in my life, personally and professionally. And it means a lot to have been a part of this. And thank you. It's the people who've stuck with us. Thank you so much. The show is nothing if not for your support. So
you're crazy people.
Right, exactly. You're masochists, much like we are.
You're sadists. There's a screw loose somewhere, but you're here. You've been here every week. We love you for that.
Yeah. So. And I love you guys. And thank you.
It's crazy how time flies. Hey.
Yeah. Do you have a spiel for it, or are you going to make me talk too much and do it?
I mean, yeah, it's funny. Didn't know what to expect when we started doing this, but yeah, it's become a big part of my life. I miss a hell out of Chris, man. Yeah. Brought the energy every week, and made it easy to do. I will say that you definitely made it easy to do this show every week.
Yeah, and I see that Justin Spiro is in here. Like, and Justin, I say this out of love. That's how you know the audience has a screw loose when Justin Spiro is a spark is giving your show the props.
That's what you just said too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I don't even know where to start. I'm not. I've never had to send someone on. Like, we've had people go on, like I said, and get other jobs, but and no disrespect to those people. I hold the time that I spent with them, that they were with the site very dearly, but that wasn't this. And what this was, and Luke and I have talked about this already. That third share is going to be empty for a bit. We're not feeling that. I don't even know. Like, next week's Memorial Day, I'm going to be doing some traveling in mid-June. Honestly, I don't know when the next time him and I will do a show together, let alone the three of us. So, I mean, you just don't know what the future holds. And if your story is anything, it's that this is what I love about your story. I found the words. Is it something that I heard on Juwan Howard's Zooms all year and for part of last year when we were doing stuff in person was stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah.
You've been staying ready for this opportunity, and you called your shot years ago. And anyone with a brain, anyone with a brain knew that this was where this story ends, or where this chapter of the story ends. Anyone who knew where digital media was going knew that this was going to be the case. And if it was Barstool, awesome. If it was someone else, like it almost was, it was going to happen for you.
Yeah.
And like I said before, it's not often that I get. I'm not here to poo-poo anyone else's credentials or anything, but I get a lot of applications from people that I don't even give a second. Like, I just don't. Sorry, I don't give the time of day. We get a lot of them, but there are some where you see the name and the email, and you go, "This is happening." You don't even have to send me a resume. It's happening.
Yeah.
And you're one of those people, and you're a unicorn. I mean, everything about your story, about the things you've been through. I'm not out. I hope I'm not out. Like, you didn't finish CMU. I'm not outing anything there, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Didn't finish college.
Yeah.
Was working quietly for a long time, quietly behind the scenes at Speedway. Like, I don't think a lot of people really knew that until recently.
I kept it a secret. I kept it a secret until Portnoy blabbed about it on Stool Feed.
Yeah, it's this man, like, when the world was telling him this isn't going to work for you and you're not cut out for this, he said, "Fuck you. It's going to work out for me. Get out of the way." And it's taken me to get to my old age. I think
28.
Old age, whatever. Yeah. It's taken a lot of wisdom to, like, realize. Like, you just realize special people when you see them. And I think Dave nailed it when he said you've been grinding behind the scenes and without much fanfare far longer than you should have. But you answered the call. You stayed positive. it was tough. I mean, and I've gone through some of the. We've talked privately. There have been similar things that I've gone through. You've always. I just admire your ability to. Again, Shawshank Redemption, climb through a mile of shit and you came out clean on the other side. Yeah. And I'm so proud of that. Aside from, just you being a co-host and the guy that you are, I mean, and this is normally a phrase that applies to funerals, but you can apply it to good things happening too, is you realize the value of someone and what they mean to this world when you see how people come together when it's time to celebrate an accomplishment, celebrate life, celebrate whatever it is. And the outpouring of support that you still probably haven't gotten back to maybe.
No, I haven't. I'm trying.
It's that's the mark of a human being. And aside from being an awesome content person, you are I have no issue. Like you're a total sweetheart. You're a loyal guy. You're one of the best. Like people don't realize how competitive this industry is. Sometimes it can be very,
egocentric.
Egocentric. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. God, I'm losing the words on your farewell. What the hell's going on there? For the three of us, and tonight is a celebration of what the three of us. It's for you, but this is the final chapter of what the three of us have built here, and you've stayed ready, you've stayed persistent. And the one thing I'll just say, and I would say it to you privately, so I say it to you here. Don't always remember who you are. Never forget. Don't forget the grind. Don't forget what it felt like to be kind of on the edge of quitting, because that's what keeps me going.
Yeah.
And you're persistent. You're going to crush it. I mean, it's honestly, I'm not here to downplay the outlet that I've been a part of for 7 years or anything, but you have been punching below your weight class for a long, long time, honestly.
Wow. And
I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy. I mean, I've told you this a million times. Seeing you cry, everyone saw it. It's on video now. 3,000 people, 32,000 people on Periscope.
Wow.
Seeing you cry makes me cry. And seeing good things happen to good people, it's your story's inspiring. I think we can all take something away from that. And you always have a home here. You always have friends here, and be rooting for you every step of the way, my friend. So that's all I can say before I start balling here.
Yeah, I've said all I've needed to say. Just thank you to everybody. Thank you.
I will say this as well. Obviously, Barstool, has all the resources in the world, but obviously, if there's anything you need from us, we're there, 100%, no matter what. So, yeah. It's been
you're a star, man. Keep working. Keep up.
Been a night.
Just keep doing what you've been doing. Don't you hit the goal, but it's like the 5-star recruit that hits campus.
Starts now, man.
That clock starts over. Now. So make us proud, man.
I will.
You will. I have no doubts about that, but don't forget us little people. That's all.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, just the beginning.
So when are we going to find out some more details, Chris?
I'm going to call Dave tomorrow, and as far in regards to a content plan, and we'll go from there. Yeah, within the next week, things will become a lot more clear.
Well, for those, because you don't have any followers or anything like that. So where can we find you on social media here, Chris?
If you're not sick of me yet, at Castellani 2014, that's at Castellani 2014, and that is there. You'll find the link to my YouTube channel as well. Click subscribe, click like, and things are definitely happening there. So I appreciate it.
Well, Anthony, where can we find you, man?
No, you can find me grabbing a box of Kleenex. Dart out of this room. You can find me on Twitter at Anthony T. Broom. You know where to get our shows. It's been scrolling on the bottom of the screen for the people watching on YouTube and Twitch and Periscope. We appreciate all you guys. For the people that listen after the fact, appreciate your love and support. Luke and I have had preliminary conversations about what comes next, but again, those were all super premature until we sent off our sweet prince, our little baby bird. We'll see what happens. Maize and Brew, the podcast feed's not going away, but this is it for this configuration. So thank you for the support, for coming on the ride with us. If the time comes or that third chair gets filled, sorry, they're going to have to bring.
They will have my blessing.
Well, they have some pretty special shoes to fill.
Thank you.
So thank you for everything, Chris.
Thank you.
And yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Luke Garrity, LukeGhiardi. And for the last time, signing off on Brewcast for my friends Chris Castellani and Anthony Broom. I'm Luke Garrity. We'll see you next week on Brewcast.